Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to explore a massive transition that is happening right before our eyes. We are looking at how the AI industry is aggressively shifting from, abstract software hype into tangible physical realities, complex corporate struggles, and strict new regulation. We are way past the days of just playing with chatbots in a web browser. The ecosystem is maturing, and with that maturation comes a whole new set of physical and economic challenges. So the crucial question we're asking today is exactly how this landscape is maturing right now in July 2026. To answer that, we're going to zoom out. We'll break this down by looking at the massive physical layer being built, the messy enterprise reality of integrating these tools, and finally, the new guardrails being established to keep it all on track. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the physical AI boom. Check out this massive number, 27%. Because, before software can actually think, somebody has to build the hardware, right? Driven almost entirely by this immense global demand for AI-related semiconductors and hardware, China's June exports just surged by a staggering 27%. What's absolutely fascinating here is how this thirst for AI hardware is reshaping international economics. It's acting as a massive boom that's actively offsetting China's sluggish domestic consumer demand. The digital AI boom is literally moving the needle on global physical trade. And to further prove just how massive this physical expansion really is, look at this figure, 5 billion euros. That translates to roughly 5.7 billion US dollars. Intel just committed this immense amount of capital to upgrade and maximize its Leixlip campus over in Ireland. And they aren't doing this for traditional computing either. This is specifically to boost manufacturing capacity for their next-generation Xeon 6 processors, which are custom-built for heavy AI computing. We're literally seeing billions of physical dollars poured into the ground to support digital AI. And, this brilliantly illustrates the shift to physical products on the consumer side, too. According to recent reports, OpenAI is developing its very first hardware device. We're talking about a screen-free, movable smart speaker packed with cameras and sensors. The ultimate goal? To act as a highly interactive human-like companion. AI is officially stepping out of the cloud and physically into our living spaces. Moving right along to Section 2, Enterprise Realities and Rivalries. Now, here's where things get kind of ironic. While massive capital is being spent on hardware, tech giants are suddenly getting incredibly frugal about software. Take Amazon, for example. After Anthropic raised the prices for using its models, Amazon initiated a deep AI cost analysis. To offset these rising costs, they're actively exploring a pivot to their own proprietary internal Nova models or looking at alternatives from OpenAI. It just goes to show that even for a behemoth like Amazon, the economics of running third-party AI models are really starting to bite. Meanwhile, over at Meta's Applied AI division, they are building walls, literally. Meta has placed strict internal limits on how its own engineers can use competitor tools like Claude Code and Codex. And why? Well, it's a very specific fear, accidental distillation. Essentially, they're worried that using a competitor's AI to write or check code could inadvertently leak competitive intelligence, or even train Meta's own proprietary models on outside data. The corporate paranoia is very real right now, and the operational guardrails are definitely going up. And as you might guess, where there's corporate paranoia, there are lawsuits. The friction continues with the ongoing trade secrets lawsuit between Apple and OpenAI. Apple had actually alleged that OpenAI was being unresponsive in their communications, but OpenAI successfully refuted those claims by dropping early communication emails. And the reality? An Apple attorney had mistakenly confused two completely different OpenAI employees. It's just a perfect example of how messy and, frankly, how human these high-stakes enterprise rivalries can actually get. Which brings us to Section 3, Establishing AI Guardrails. The Wild West phase of AI is ending, for sure. Setting a firm boundary in the entertainment space, the music streaming platform Tidal is rolling out an aggressive new demonetization policy that goes into effect today. Check out these 3 steps. First, they're strictly tagging 100% AI-generated songs with a highly visible AI badge. Second, they are outright stripping these tagged songs of any royalty eligibility. And third, they're aggressively removing fraudulent artist impersonations. It's a very clear, systematic approach to protecting human creators by cutting off the money to AI copycats. And as a direct response to the enterprise friction and security fears we were just talking about, smart venture capital is flooding into guardrail startups. Just look at where the money is going right now. We've got CRV leading a $22 million round for Hadrius, which builds AI-native compliance tools for financial audits. Then there's Stryker raising a massive $64 million specifically to protect and secure corporate AI agents. And finally, Baz, extending its seed funding by $9 million for a planner that uses 4 specialized AI agents just to safely structure and analyze code. The business of keeping AI safe is quickly becoming just as lucrative as building the AI itself. On a governmental level, the rules are also being completely rewritten. Down in Australia, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese just announced an incredibly ambitious plan. They are aiming to implement a world-first framework that fast-tracks the approvals for physical data centers while simultaneously laying down a strict new regulatory framework for AI usage. It's a dual approach, right? Build the infrastructure faster, but regulate the software much harder. However, this isn't exactly a universally praised approach. Just to look at this impartially, the Australian opposition has issued a pretty strong warning. They're arguing that excessive bureaucracy could end up stifling business innovation. They essentially argue that moving too quickly to regulate with heavy government frameworks risks strangling the very sector they are trying to foster. It's that classic push and pull between necessary oversight and technological freedom perfectly encapsulated on the national stage. So, what does this all mean for us? As AI transitions away from being a fun digital novelty and expands into massive physical infrastructure and highly regulated enterprise tools, a huge question remains. How will we find the balance between explosive technological growth and the strict compliance required to actually keep it safe? We are actively watching the growing pains of a technology that is reshaping the world, and honestly, striking that perfect balance is going to define the next decade.